Hello people, welcome to SanskarEdutech channel. My name is ALok Jha. I am an assistant professor of business communication in dtsscollege of Commerce Autonomous. So as you remember, last time we discussed something about upward communication. Let us jump to something called as horizontal communication. Now what exactly is this horizontal communication? This is a lateral internal communication between colleagues and peers at the same level of authority in the organization. Consider the scenario wherein there are various departments in a company, right? Every department will have a manager. Now when one manager communicates with the manager of some other department, that is where horizontal communication takes place. Now example, when the production manager corresponds with the finance manager or the sales manager, it can be both written and oral, face-to-face or telephonic. Committee meetings are important means of horizontal communication. Let us now understand what are the advantages or the merits of horizontal communication. First, it helps in planning and coordination between different departments and ensures smooth functioning of the company. As we discussed the last time, that in a company, everyone behaves as if they are part of one particular family, one particular unit. So they might talk to each other, they might communicate with each other with regards to the coordination and the planning, which again is very good for the functioning of a company. Second, it is time saving. When people at the same level meet, discuss and solve problems, there is little chance of kind of disagreement or any kind of dispute because there is transparency. You see, every time a communication is happening in that particular scenario. Third, it prevents misunderstandings, of course. If you constantly are communicating with your colleagues, if people are communicating together, they are on the same page, then yes, you won't have much chances of any kind of dispute or any kind of differences that occurs generally, right? Let us talk about the disadvantages of horizontal communication, the demerits and the drawbacks. First, sometimes there may be jealousy and rivalry among people of equal rank. What happens is, because right now we are dealing with managers of different departments, just imagine if attitude wherein he feels that he knows everything, right? The same thing is happening with the manager of other department. They will have this kind of egoistical issue wherein they feel that there is some kind of rivalry or some kind of competition between those departments, right? Second, sometimes there is conflict between vertical and horizontal communication because constantly there is some kind of communication happening throughout the company, you see. So there can be moments wherein some kind of issue or some kind of conflict arises due to a lot of communication happening in a particular space. Third, sometimes leads to time wasting and gossiping. Just imagine 4 people sitting over there. They won't be talking only productive things, right? They might end up talking about some stupid things that are not related to the company, right? They might end up gossiping, and again it wastes the time. So they are collectively wasting the time. That is one of the most important drawbacks of horizontal communication. Let us jump to something called as diagonal communication. Now what exactly is this diagonal communication? This is a channel of communication that encourages a combination of vertical and horizontal communication. Now remember this thing, that a company or an organization has a lot of communication taking place. Now this diagonal communication, what exactly is this? A manager of different department talking to a junior level manager of some other department. That is where diagonal takes place. Diagonal can be vertical, diagonal can be horizontal. Any kind of combination of this particular kind of space or in this space or in this scenario. Now it involves interdepartmental communication by people at different levels. Why we are concerned with interdepartmental? As we already discussed that one particular institution is like a family. So they need to talk about various things amongst themselves. So interdepartmental communication also plays a key role in functioning of a company. Example, managers and workers of different departments coordinating amongst themselves, talking amongst themselves. It is usually direct and oral and may be formal or informal. It happens in strategic situations. Example, launching a new product, right? Let us jump on to the merits or the advantages of diagonal communication. First and foremost, it enables cross-departmental teams. What happens is there is always some kind of vacuum, some kind of lacuna that happens in a particular kind of space. So this communication enables and helps to establish a cross-departmental teams wherein they can discuss amongst themselves, they can brainstorm about various. Then second, it is effective in critical situations. There are moments, there are times when the company faces a lot of issues, lot of challenges. Then and there itself, any kind of communication really helps the functioning of a firm. Diagonal communication comes into picture. It is friendly and informal. So diagonal communication is not always formal in nature. That's why you could see people from different departments mingling around, talking to each other, trying to find a solution to various problems. Then last, it is one of the fastest type of formal workplace communication. Just imagine this thing, two people from different departments talking a lot of time, day in, day out. So you will find a lot of communication happening in a space, in a commercial space, this kind of communication, which is diagonal. Now let us talk about the drawbacks and the disadvantages. It can destroy formal chain of commands and create confusion. Now we have been discussing about various channels of communication, and we have seen that every channel has some kind of formal obligation associated with it. But when it comes to diagonal communication, that formal obligation kind of fades, and that becomes a kind of a challenge, wherein it can happen that people are no longer having that kind of obligation on their head, and this might create confusion between different departments. Then it can create conflicts and ego hassles, as we already discussed, that different people from different department, they might carry their own ego, they might have their own snobbish attitude, they might have their own issues with their attitude, with their status, and this can hamper the communication. And last but not the least, it is mostly oral, you see, so low accountability. Nothing is formal, as we discussed. Mostly things are very oral, things are not so accountable. You can't hold anyone accountable when they have said something already, and things may go wrong in this kind of scenario. So we discussed a lot of things. From the last videos, we have been discussing about downward communication, upward communication, horizontal communication, diagonal communication. So now you have got a kind of a brief idea about what kind of communication takes place in a formal space, in a formal scenario. If you have any issues with regards to any of the communication, you can go through our videos. Don't forget to check on this channel. Try to be on this channel as much as possible. Try to gain the knowledge. Thank you so much. Have a great day.